I had a really mind-blowing realization lately. I've kind of always known this about myself, but I never really could put a word on it. It's that I'm an empath. Yeah, I've heard that there's a lot of stigma around the word. This is a really important journey for me, and I feel like maybe some other people might need to hear this. And sometimes we just need to feel like there is someone else in the world like us. So that's why I'm making this video, and I hope it helps you. Sometimes I feel like I'm a prisoner to my own actions and my own feelings, and all I end up doing is serving others and what they need and what they want and what they're feeling more than I do anything for myself. I give my all to other people and give very little to myself. And recently I went on this journey, like trying to understand, why do I do this? What is it really called? And am I helpless to it? And am I in a prison of my own making? On this journey, I realized what this was called. It's called being an empath. You might have heard of the term before, but it gets really often confused with being compassionate or being sympathetic. But an empath is someone who feels others' emotions very clearly. They feel their pain, they feel their needs. They put those people's needs before their own. Now, someone who's compassionate is someone that generally feels for someone else's problems, but they feel distant from the problem. So they may have a desire to help someone who's going through a problem, but they're generally pretty distant. An empath is someone who really feels like they're going through what this person is going through, almost like one-to-one, and you feel like you can't separate yourself from that. So these are all my learnings through my own experiences, through professional help. I don't recommend using this video as like a sincere way to live your life, and the advice in it is just the things that I've heard, and perhaps hearing them from someone else could be a good thing. For me, being an empath, I feel like I kind of give everything that I have to other people around me. I'm very keenly aware of how other people are feeling. If they're feeling something really strongly, I'm feeling for them, and I dedicate all my energy and my resources and whatever I can do to said person to help them out, just because I just can't simply ignore someone who's going through a lot of pain or suffering or just, any sort of like trouble. Okay, so the reason why being an empath is actually such a scary thing for me is because I tend to lose the ability of what I want and need when there are people around me that need and want things. That can be really bad, because then I start to lose the ability to make decisions. I start to lose the ability to know what are my interests, what is good for me, physically, psychologically. It starts to drain me and exhaust me. And not only that, but it makes me really vulnerable to abusers. And I don't want that to happen to me. It's happened to me several points in my life, and I don't want to sort of let someone assert themselves in my own life. So I need to take the necessary levels to sort of protect myself, make sure that I'm always mentally well. This kind of question I ask my therapist is, am I always going to be in my own self-made prison? How do I escape being an empath? How do I avoid falling into the same pit traps that I always find myself in? Or what can I do to take care of myself more? After a conversation I had with my therapist, I think I finally found out what I need to do. And lucky for me, I don't think it's to stop being an empath, because I don't think you can really switch that off. I asked her really specifically, like, how do I stop being an empath? And she told me it's like, you don't really stop. It doesn't really ever change. It's just who you are and how you feel things around you. However, there are ways that you can kind of deal with the ramifications of what it is like to be an empath like 24/7. Let's put it this way. If you're an empath, I would like to think of it more of like a dial. You can kind of tune it down a little bit. You can turn it up when you need to, but you're regulating it. It's kind of in your control. And you will know who are people that deserve everything that you do for them as an empath, and there are people that probably shouldn't give them your time and energy. And just sort of distinguishing who's who is a really good first step. In the conversation that I had with my therapist, she brought up a really simple analogy for me that I felt like I could really wrap my head around. The analogy was this. She basically proposed a situation for me where me and my friend can be any person, want to eat like 2 different kinds of food. I want to have ice cream. My friend wants to have meatballs. Okay, I didn't realize how Swedish that was of her to use meatballs as an analogy. That's kind of cute. So, I want ice cream. Said other person wants meatballs. Where empathy enters the equation is, if my friend wants meatballs and I sacrifice not having ice cream, so I really want ice cream, but my friend wants meatballs, and I go along with their plan and I'm sacrificing to go along with their plan because, you know, that seems more convenient. I mean, they want meatballs. Why would I not want to go get meatballs with them? I mean, they really like it and love it, and it would probably make them happy, and I want them to be happy. And that's exactly how an empath thinks. Like, you just sort of kind of convince yourself that you should be doing it for them, because if it makes them happy, you will draw happiness from it, right? Because that's what empaths do. It's like we gain joy and I don't know, just joy, I guess. Empaths tend to sort of like put themselves under the bus, if that makes sense. So like I would have, you know, rode on my desire to eat ice cream and sort of done this like mental loop to convince myself not to have ice cream and just go along with their plans. That's when you know empathy is bad. You're kind of sacrificing things, and it's not really like a very conscious decision of saying, yeah, you know what? Meatballs kind of do sound better than ice cream. And when you find yourself making that decision that, you know, their plan sounds cooler than yours, and you know what, you might enjoy meatballs more than ice cream, that's when you know you're sort of making a conscious choice and not falling into the pit traps of empathy. Yeah. Basically just acknowledging the decision you're making. So you might be asking yourself, but like, what if I'm making the conscious decision to sacrifice something for someone else? The answer to that, are you minimizing your costs? Like, what is it cost for you to give up something that you like for someone else? And if you're downplaying, like, oh, you know what, I don't need ice cream, like, I can have it another day, like, what's the big deal anyways? If you're minimizing what that ice cream meant to you so that you can go have meatballs to make your friend happy, yeah, that's bad. I mean, sure, you're making a conscious choice to choose the meatballs instead of the ice cream. It is a choice, right? But it kind of feels like you're minimizing the costs and what it means to you and putting someone else's needs before your own. So yeah, that's the whole trick. It's really that simple, which is mind-blowing to me because I never thought about it in such an easy way, that I literally just need to think, okay, am I okay eating meatballs? And if I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it, that sounds like a great idea. Or I'm like, you know, I kind of wanted ice cream, but this person wants meatballs, so I guess we'll just go for meatballs because that seems more convenient. Or am I thinking like, nah, you know what? I kind of want ice cream today, so like I recognize that we have two different ideas. I'm gonna go get ice cream, you get meatballs, I'm happy, you're happy, we'll find a middle ground. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe sometimes people will find a middle ground for you. That's okay too, as an empath. I can't believe it's that easy. Now, the trick is for me to always be aware of it. I think that's gonna take a little bit of practice. Yeah, I'm proud of myself. Because I feel like I'm so lost these days, I don't really know what are my interests, what I like, what I want to do, sometimes what to even have for dinner. I relinquish all control to dinner to other people. I'm like, you know what, I'll eat what you're having. What do you want? You can decide what's for dinner. And I just relinquish all control because I just don't know what I want anymore. And the more that you give yourself to like empathy and let the reins go, the more you feel alone and you just kind of don't know who you are anymore. I don't want that to happen to me. So to retain my individuality, I'm going to be thinking about my choices a lot more clearly. Also, if you ever find yourself in a situation with someone else and you're an empath, make sure that the empathy is almost reciprocal. Like people are feeling for you and you're feeling for them, and there's a constant give or take. Don't find yourself in a situation where your empathy overextends yourself and you're kind of living someone else's life because they need it. And you honestly can keep giving it because you're an empath until you realize there's really nothing left to give. Don't let there be an empathic like imbalance. Always try and make sure to find a middle ground with people that sort of feel you as you feel them. If you feel like you're an empath too and any of this like spoke volumes to you, let me know how you feel. Let me know if you like videos like this as well. Please do hit this video with a like if you do appreciate it. Give me a yellow heart if this is something that helped you in the comments, and please do consider subscribing. I think, let's say 80% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed to me, so it would mean the world to me, whether you're male, female, to subscribe and, you know, catch any of this like future content that I might come up with. It comes to me. I have a therapy session and I'm like, you know what? I think other people need to hear this. And yeah, that's kind of the inspiration of my videos. So I hope they help, and I will see you around. Have an awesome day.
Wait, fish? Like how they eat fish? Like, it actually tastes good. Okay, no, never mind. Wow, something must be wrong with me. It actually tasted okay for a second, but never.